models. Do you see any other types of concretions here?
There's some like pretty large
Does anybody have any little white?
Yeah, I don't have any white. Oh, wait, no, we're having fun up here.
Yeah, what are these?
That's bits of the calcium carbonate.
And then manganese.
I don't know if it's so hard to do this, but do you see how? See the different colors here? See all those little brownish balls?
Yes. What are those? Those
Glauconite.
Glauconite.
Yeah, it's earthworm poop.
So I'm holding a handful of earthworm food.
Yep. Or whatever they call it. I guess it's really poop. But yeah. But So
soil forming.
Right.
It is.
So this is sort of a way that the mixing occurs within these soils too, is earthworms and other things. So we have a little bit of a change in structure. We have more models, or not models, but concretions, and we have different types of concretions. So is this a different horizon?
You have it.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think it is.
Do you have another spoon?
He's probably got a bunch of spoons.
Of course. I was hungry when I left the house.
It's like you're a farmer.
Whittle that into
It's like you won a burger.
What do you think? Poor Rose, you were the wrong
Does anybody want to go to the
It's also good for
French fries and garlic. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I know the word.
Culprit.
Oh, I
You don't explain on my water.
That's a healthy metabolism.
It's not a healthy word. It looks like it's on its way out.
You didn't use walking out of his pants.
I'm amazed.
I think it's a little meatball. Made somebody's meatball.
I'll give the world people money.
Yeah, the grass.
You press it?
The grass. No, I just came out. The grass would be the spaghetti, and these would be the meatballs.
He just scooped it out. He just like
Sauce. Oh gosh.
just like truffle.
All right, so
Victor, we should make that into a
we've got now an A horizon. We'll call this an AB, a B1, a B2, and a C horizon. And
So you call it, you designate once it starts to get a bit more of the rock part, that's for sure a C, but if it's not, then you just start keep labeling it like 1, 2, 3, 4.
right, so we could go B3, B4, but because of the sort of massive, like if you come down here and feel that, it's definitely just like half decomposed rock and some soil forming in there, so it's not quite a B horizon, and so it would stop there.
So when you do these, you normally start at the top and say, I know this is like more organic matter and fluids or whatever, so I'll call this an A, and then I'm going to jump all the way to the bottom and see where...
Usually not, but it's right now it's just so easy to see. We did it that way. And sometimes that's an easy way to at least. So we've only identified 2 horizons here, and there's probably 3.
Splitters would probably make sense.
Yeah, there's
But
probably another one here.
they'll get their color book out, they look at the color, and they do texture
Okay.
as well. Because that texture is also another way that we can
Keep breaking it up.
So let's
haven't done it yet.
let's do texture.
Oh,
Do you want to do color first before they color?
all right. All right,
So we're
color
gonna do
time.
some color.
Yay! I want a color. Oh God! Oh God! No one was ready.
Jesus,
Oh
color.
wait!
I'm ready.
Okay. Please don't.
What?
All right.
No, I have to do the separate. I'm not doing it.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're gonna go back up to that first.
We got
Give it to me.
Hey guys, I got one.
All right, folks.
We're gonna start with
So you just need a small amount of soil in your hand.
Come on, guys.
A very small amount. And if you have a color book, then you'll notice, we talked about this, I showed you a picture of it in class, one of those pages. So turn to page 10YR, the hue will be 10YR.
It's like we think on the
And you remember what the Y and the R stand for?
Yellow and red.
Don't put it on there like that.
Oh, no. It goes from the bottom up.
So before you put your soil
That's a
on
brand
the
new
page,
book too, David.
thank you very much. Right here.
Minus 10 points.
Keely is demonstrating the proper method of taking her soil and putting it underneath the color swatches. And then you move it around in those little holes to determine which color swatch it matches best. Now, a couple of things. Dr. Barton mentioned earlier, listen guys, I don't want to yell at you. It's okay, that you need a moist soil sample to use. We've got plenty of soil moisture here.
So that
We don't need to drop it, but if it were dry,
now, Amanda
you would take a water bottle and get like a droplet of water. And you would get your soil, you get that piece of soil wet or just moist. You don't want it sopping wet, but you just want it moist. Don't make a mud ball, don't smear it. You want a fresh piece of soil. Fresh face is what we always talk about when we have our little piece of soil. And then take that fresh face and move it underneath
So it would be that.
those color swatches. Now, we start at 10YR in Kentucky just because it's our rule of thumb. That's just where we start, because you gotta start somewhere.
Oh, it's too green.
But you can move to the other pages if you don't think you can find a color that matches. So,
Are we happy with
does
that?
anybody have a color that they think that it matches?
4-3.
All right.
So the way you read it is it's 10YR and then it's hue
Oh yeah.
and then value and then chroma. So value is on the Y horizon or the Y axis and chroma is on the X axis. It is brown.
Well, like no, like on the thing. It says brown, yeah.
Okay, so right, it says brown, but
We're at the top.
remember these
What's your
color
number?
books.
We did 10YR 3/6, but we're doing the very top part.
So the color book gives us a quantitative value to a qualitative characteristic. And so saying brown is what? Is that qualitative or quantitative? Qualitative. So I want the quantitative response.
10YR 4-3.
4-3. What you get, Carmen?
We did the top.
Yep. That's what they're
We
doing.
got 10YR 3/6.
3-6 or 4-3.
Yeah.
Dark yellowish brown.
So much easier.
Y'all go-
4-3.
Yeah. Y'all go back to sleep.
It's the only stuff I find.
Okay, so
I think
does
it's
everybody?
ours is too
Can
dark
everybody
for that.
see
Do
that
you
that's
have-
about the
did you
color
smash
range
it
that
up
we
or
have?
using a fresh pen?
We're at the top.
No, it's just been sitting in her hand.
Okay.
It's in my
And you
hand.
can also see
dried out.
how it's important to not have your sunglasses on. And if you're colorblind, you might
I'm
find
still-
a partner
I'm still-
who's not.
All right, Martin,
And
I'm
then-
still with this
And a
one.
lot of it's practice.
Sorry,
Okay,
bud.
so 4-3.
We'll look at your fresh sample.
Throws dirt.
They got
You try this one?
Contemptuously.
Yeah, no, you can't
Yeah,
squish it
we
up.
were doing the top.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I did in the beginning. You
I
said,
don't
did I
know
do it?
that-
And I said, no, I didn't squish it. Okay, we got a little
I
bit
would say
non-squish.
it's
Okay. Let me just
I would say
Okay, we got non-squish.
Can you hand me
I thought it
one
was
a little bit?
4-3.
He's saying 4-3.
He's
Is
saying
this the second
4-3.
Oh no, that's first.
No, we disagree with you, Barton.
All right, let's see.
Let's go show him. See what he says.
This one here. There you go.
I want to see how your eyeballs do it. Our eyeballs don't see that.
Yeah, ours are pretty
So,
sharp. I see it. I was like 4.
that's what we're seeing.
Can't wait till Jay walks out.
You have to protect against all
No,
men.
that's cheating. That's cheating.
Take 4-3. Now, let's look at another page. So if you think you're 4-3 on 10YR, let's go one page forward is 7.5 YR. And go to that same value in chroma. So this is 4.3.
So 4.3.
And is that any closer?
Do you want any soil?
Yes.
Not bad.
No, this is totally different.
Yeah, I mean,
The one Carmen had in her hand.
So this is the
Was a
trick that we
36 all
do
day.
when we're doing our soil
So
description.
this is
Is when you think you're close,
but it could be
you
that
go
way.
one page forward and one page backward. You'll start to narrow it down.
Regardless,
That's
as
how
long
you
as
start
it's
to
not
train your
up
eye to
32.
see these slight variations in yellow and
That's
red.
high. It starts getting
Because
hydrated.
that's when it
So,
starts getting
I know this
hydric,
sounds-
and we
seems
know
like
that we're a
minutia,
little lighter
But this
than
is
that.
what
So
he's
anywhere
talking about when
between
soil scientists are.
4.3,
In a minute.
3.3.
I mean, there are
Any one of these four would probably be.
I want to see a fist fight.
it'd be a mud pit. Yeah, it'd be a mud fight.
I think we get selfies.
We could totally.
There's a select podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Fight.
Let's do it next weekend. So the soil.
Now, does anybody have a different example of the old layers?
You might need to
Be careful taking
Well, I
it
mean,
apart.
the reason I asked about the moisture is because my daughter for her science project, we made a color, grayscale color kit based on the soil moisture, and we would add different amounts
Let's
of
look
water
at
to
another
it.
horizon.
All that color and how that predicts.
All right, while y'all are arguing, we're just gonna look at another one.
Sorry, we're being the splitters.
No, they're fine.
I think it would be nice for them to go down.
We're not budging, Chris.
What?
We still think it's the same.
No, that's the next
We
horizon.
have about an hour.
So we're, okay.
All right, I think it's
All right.
Does it go
Okay.
to 3.6 by any
Y'all
chance?
have a book over here.
Look, that's look at the website. It's this one is probably like
Here's
first
here's
one was
another one. I
4.3.
just
think
went
this
down.
one's usually like
I went down to the
4,
1, 2. This is the third horizon.
Alrighty, where are we at now?
Here you go. This is the third horizon. So break it. So let me show you on that one. Let me show you this. So take this, and even though because I've touched
How
it,
about a
you touched it.
3/5?
And when he says
That's the next
we said a fresh face,
Can we do that?
I like
Sure.
to break it open like that, and then immediately
This one's
put
redder.
it underneath the page. So there's your fresh face. There's your fresh face. So start at
So that
10
one we might have
YR.
to switch over to
Yeah, I
the
was
next
gonna say we
page.
need another page. Let's go the other way.
Go to 7.5.
That one.
I like that one.
Go.
But also,
4, 6.
okay, yes, that one, that one.
Got that one.
What do you all
Nailed
think?
it.
It wasn't
At a
open.
glance.
What's your cue? 10 YR. No, it's what our surface level was.
No, our 2
The 3.6 is more brown.
7.5 YR.
Too much yellow. Okay, too much yellow.
7.5.
do you want to try
Or
a
was it 4?
Five.
5 different.
So we need to
5.4 or 4.6.
Okay.
We just didn't get lucky with the
Right. 4.6.
5.4.
4.6 is probably right.
5.4 or 4.6.
Yep.
So yeah, so this you can tell that as you do this more and more and more, you start to see, and people will like they'll just stand there without a book. Oh no, that's wrong. You know, it's really. It's amazing that people have that kind of knowledge and that they see it that way. A sunny day can really trip you up though. Like this is pretty good light actually for doing this. Sunny days can kind of bleach out colors and you'll be tempted to have your sunglasses on, you'll forget you have them on and that kind of stuff, and you just have to, or if you're in a shadow, so you have to be careful when you're making these determinations. Okay, we'll do another one? Another one for us, Chris.
Well, I just wanted to show everybody this.
So then the next one.
Oh yes, that's a 7.5.
Well, now take a look. Don't break that up.
Hey guys, look at Chris has found something really cool.
So see how we have that line right there that's a different color? So once again, that's some sort of macropore in there where it's actually water has been moving through there, and so it's actually reduced a little bit. And so that iron in that macropore is in a more reduced state, so it has actually a darker color than the matrix. So that's what I was talking about, a model, and this is a model that's due to probably an earthworm hole, because I could see some of that, the cast below and things like that. So these are sort of funny features that you see in these deeper horizons where the texture has changed. So everybody,
How long does it take, Chris? How long does it take for the soil to really change color? Like when you talked about going this high here.
Yeah, that was a question I had last night. Like, in a wetland, like they've created a wetland or drained a wetland, how long will
it can actually, if there's enough iron in there, it can be pretty quick.
Like a week.
Here, I got some more.
You know exactly 14.
I just broke that. So
We're making we're going to do ribbons.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that what we're doing too?
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
they'll be like darker. They'll be like
All right,
Still doing color.
Play-Doh soil time.
All right.
Okay, I think we're done with the color books. So we're gonna do some texture.
Get them out of there.
So,
Toss it up.
Throw them up.
and easy.
yeah, throw them up.
Gentle.
Let's
Loving toss.
be nice.
Sorry. Just the new ones. Just take care of the new ones.
Hey, easy. The other ones are mine. And Chris's. Chris had some.
Are they expensive?
Yeah, these
They're
are
$185.
why?
We can make
because there's a monopoly.
They're so specialized.
Ridiculous.
I think some of these are Chris's.
Yeah, a couple of them are.
We'll put them up
figure it out. I have my
here.
name on it.
Oh, you do? I didn't have my name on it. Is that all those color books? Okay.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get the exact color.
All right, let's.
Then it would get muddy.
All right.
No one's gonna get up this way. Let's just do this way.
Mackie's coming in.
Come on. I'm just one of these.
He wants to spray. He wants to juicy spray.
Pretty much.
We're just so excited about soil.
Right here.
You don't know how
Okay, so
happy I was when I left.
one of the other things that we like to do to characterize is determine what the texture is. So who remembers what texture is?
Texture is like hot feels. It can be like sand, silt, or clay.
Right. So the percentage of sand, silt, and clay. And so what type of textures do we have? We talked about this in my class yesterday, Rose. What were some of the textures?
Loam. Sandy loam.
Sandy loam,
With a triangle.
loam, clay, silt loam, silty clay loam.
Just sand.
We're very creative. Soil science is very creative.
So we're gonna do the ribbon test.
Oh yay! Everyone's so excited for the ribbon test.
So with the ribbon test, you take a little bit of moist. Fortunately, we have all the moisture we need, and you press the soil between your fingers, and you're trying to make a ribbon that the soil sticks together that's over an inch long. Will tell you that it's a clay. Okay. The other thing that we want to look at is the grittiness of it. So sand is going to be gritty, right?
Yeah.
Well, we know that these soils have some concretions in them that might be gritty, but we want to think about the matrix. And so the way I always look at it is when I'm feeling it, feel it first, and if you feel a bunch of fine sand, that tells you something. If you don't, and it feels, I always refer to it as sort of like, it feels like flour or powder.
She made it.
That's
really
silt.
wet.
Yeah, I did
And if it's real sticky and you can make a ribbon out of it, it has more clay in it. And depending on how long that ribbon is, it could be a clay or a silty clay or a sandy clay.
So I have little, if you want, before you leave, I made little handouts for them with the flow chart
Okay.
of how you determine that.
Yeah.
So I always take a little bit of soil to that field test, and I just put a little bit, teeny tiny bit in my palm and really get it wet, and then kind of use my index finger and swirl it around in there, and that's how I can feel that grit, and determine kind of how much grit you think you've got in there.
So how much do you think you have in this one?
I don't know. So when I do this, I see all these little black parts. So
That's the
Organic
manganese.
matter.
Well, yeah.
okay, how do you do the organic manner?
You do it and you put your hand and you just kind of give it. I can't
How would
really
you do
do.
it?
Yeah, there's some of those concretions.
Mine like sticks to my finger, so Like
It feels sticky, but also has like that powder.
I'm gonna need some more.
Right, absolutely. So Carmen said what she feels is it's sticky a little. Did you say sticky?
It's like I can feel a little sticky, but also like powder. Like if I was making cookies or baby powder.
Yeah, I don't think it really feels sticky much at all.
The ball feels definitely.
Sometimes when you're trying to determine if the grit is really sand or something else, sometimes you can hear it and you can listen.
Rub it against your teeth.
Yeah, you can also. I told him not to texture my mouth. Although one of the ladies last night said she was trained to texture my mouth. Put the dirt. Yes, he did.
He said it, only one person has to do it.
Okay.
But he said
I just squashed the
So okay, and then make your mud ball, and I like am kind of meticulous about how I make my mud ball. I kind of make my mud ball, and I put a little crick in my index finger. I'm right-handed, so I make my mud ball in my left and my ribbon in my right, and then you. This is why it says lumpers and splitters, right? And you just make that little crick in your finger, and then you just gently press it with pressure. You're not going to smear it. I don't smear it. This is how Dr. K taught me.
I got kind of a.
That's what I remember.
Victor, you broke my ribbon.
And then you just start
make a new one then.
done ribboning.
to make your ribbon, and you figure out where the ribbon breaks naturally. So that smearing, if you smear it, you can kind of make those particles stick together and hold your ribbon together artificially.
I'm apparently a very poor ribbon maker.
It's practice.
So I got about a half inch.
Well, he did it first.
Okay.
Oh, in your hand. Jesus, boy.
So what does it feel? Does it feel gritty?
I think it's
smooth.
Clay?
Yeah,
pretty good. I think it's more clay. I got a pretty okay
It feels
result on it.
smooth and
Clay.
sticky.
There's some of these that are, I think have been deposited back.
Oh, very far.
So we're not getting a big ribbon. Feels very, I was going to say silky, that's not the word, but like
Smooth.
powdery, smooth. So what do you think? What would that texture be?
It'll be more clay.
Remember what? Yeah, silt, right?
Oh,
Silt is what feels like flour or powder.
Yeah.
Almost subpar ribbon plan.
Silt loam is a texture,
Yeah.
and that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So it's got a little bit of stickiness to it. It also has a little bit of grit to it, so it's not a pure silt. A pure silt soil. I've felt one once before.
One long
Yeah, we
ago.
had one once.
When I was a young one.
When I was, yeah, long ago. Legend tells
It was a
of
lab.
the
We
all
made one
silt.
where they were doing a study and they sifted all of it out to make.
Oh my gosh, what did you
Just what?
Making tops. She's an engineer.
Yeah, she's an engineer. That's
This is a silt loam.
It's starting to rain.
He's crediting you.
Only when
Trying to
you're
get a little mud off the boot there.
Thanks, it's really helping.
It's not.
All right, let's go down a little deeper.
I was gonna try to return these.
I want to do some more.
I think you're committed.
I am.
You were so excited.
Let's do a ribbon test on this.
Oh, I actually made a good one.
But it's fine.
Come on.
Wear wool socks with it.
That's what I'm doing.
Everybody, you get a
Everybody.
You get a
Everybody.
soil.
It was
Everybody eats. Oh God.
soil. Did you make the same as soil? Can I get some dirt? Yeah.
It's soil.
Soil.
That's what Rose said. Rose got mad at me when I said dirt.
It's soil. You need to
Get your wet soil.
That's my neck.
Some of it's hot.
Vic was
Is she still recording?
rubbing the dirt all over my shirt.
Ask them to like
I'm sorry, I
They
sprayed it.
Are you still recording this?
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah, like a little a blast zone shield.
Have a blooper reel then.
So what is this is from the AB?
This is from the B1
I
Horizon.
need some. Naki, I need some moisture.
Oh,
There's some right there.
Trying to collect some.
You want some soil from my boot?
Thank you.
Why are you so fascinated?
What?
Close.
Squirt bottle.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
I need some more.
I filled that up out of the soil pit this morning.
Doug, Victor.
I'm ready. Yeah, okay. I got it. All right.
Tone down.
Yeah, please tone it
pressure.
down.
Immediately, I'm sorry. Immediately.
You're very welcome. So,
Not sprayed in.
I need a little bit more.
Vicky, we have some over here.
this is a little more.
There's another water bottle in
Quit
there.
asking.
I have it.
Stand behind him.
Oh, there you
I got it.
It looks
Oh, nice.
more yellowy now that it's
Oh
wet.
wow, this is harder than me.
Yeah, it really is. Like wetting it still.
So why do you think that it's hard to actually get it to make into a mud ball? Or absorb the water?
Feeling good over here.
A little safer.
It's very I think
Oh, well, no. So one answer is maybe it's not porous. Why else do you think?
More clay.
Maybe. Why else? Anybody else? Anybody want to vote?
A vote.
More clay?
It does. Oh, you can hear it.
Which?
Yeah. So there's more clay. The particles. Remember those little teeny tiny clay particles? They stick together, right?
Yeah.
So right.
So what's there less of?
There's less sand and silt.
Maybe. What else?
Organic matter.
It's definitely less organic matter.
no, the big
It'd be aggregating a little into smaller
Yeah,
pieces
this
if they had OM, right?
Yeah.
Definitely sticky.
Can you? Is it? But if you take just your other hand and you kind of rub your fingers together, is it gritty?
Yes.
It is gritty. So maybe
I feel those secretions.
those manganese concretions. But then
Secretions, excuse me.
if you don't have the concretions, what's it feel like?
It's real
Kind of.
clay.
Yeah, it's real. It's very fine. Yeah, fine texture. But